Well, hello, my wonderful, beautiful Brussels, a wonderful, beautiful Maverick Nation. This is going to be, unless I'm giving any further suggestions, which I always take your suggestions into consideration. I mean, the Ten Tails what if and the Running Gun what if are proof of that. I didn't even want to make them, but I made them anyways. For you guys. Anyways, I will admit the thumbnail for the Ten Tails one is freaking adorable. And seeing Naruto look chill as ever in the Renegon what if's thumbnail, isn't that bad either. You know, I guess eye candy. That's not what I'm focusing on here today, ladies and gents. What I'm focusing on here today is a request given to me by certain someone, Tyler Ray, in the comment section of one of my videos. Yes, Tyler Ray. Basically, what if Naruto was Indra's reincarnation? So instead of Ashura, it's going to be Indra's reincarnation. And I have a very sick and sadistic way of doing this. It's a very cruel, terrible way of doing this, but I'm gonna do it anyways because you guys know me. Sometimes, more times than not, I indeed do like to dwell within the darkness of things. Like my little home away from home. Anyways, you guys don't know what I'm talking about, basically. Let's just say, and it's sort of a big ol' reference to Majora's Mask, like Legend of Zelda freaking Majora's Mask. The names of Naruto's parents are not going to be Minato and Kushina. They are instead one second. Hold it. Okay. So his parents are going to be known as Uchiha Kafei and Uzumaki Anju. Yes, another Uzumaki. However, she keeps her clan heritage held a secret because she believes that if other people were to figure out that not just Kushina, but that there was two freaking Uzumakis, fixing to be three, that is if it was canon and it was Kushina's child, but regardless, pretty much fixing to be three. Pretty much, yeah. Out of all Anju's fears that, the whole shit with, Kumo and Iwa, out of fears of, shit like that happening again, she doesn't want to bring it over to the village she cares a lot about, almost as much as she does her, cafe. So yes, you can see the Majora's Mask references alrighty. I'm naming the father Uchiha Kafei and the mother Uzumaki Anju. Basically, after Cafe and Anju in Majora's Mask. Basically, seeing as the Uzumaki really don't have a clan compound inside the leaf, basically Naruto lives in the Uchiha clan compound with his parents and, well, Sasuke's, parents and his older brother Itachi. But, as with tradition, the whole Uchiha clan massacre thing starts. And, well, basically, basically, then Naruto, having Uzumaki and Uchiha blood in him, Uzumaki already gives him a shit ton of chakra. And the Uchiha thing, basically Naruto has barely awoke, and he's shit, due to his mother being around, he has a lot better chakra control because he has someone to help him with that shit. And, after, helping with chakra control, Cafe would indeed help him learn the jutsus of the clan, like the Shadow Shuriken Jutsu and Fireball, and even Great Fireball eventually. So yeah, the clan basics. Yeah. Naruto would be very, cultured and caught within the ways of the Uchiha clan. Yet, basically, seeing as Anju is also an Uzumaki, it's not just her insane chakra reserves that Naruto gets. It's the ability to wield things that will require insane chakra reserves in order to wield them without getting yourself killed. The adamantium chakra chains. Yeah, basically by the time Naruto's finally mastered his third jutsu out of the Uchiha basics, that being the Great Fireball, basically by the time he's finally mastered the Great Fireball, he will have also finally mastered the ability to use the adamantium chakra chains. So not only is he only perfectly good at actual physical damage, but he's good at actually restraining if needed. If needed, he'll restrain, and if needed, he will kill. So is the life of the shinobi. Is basically something that, his father, Cafe, has basically drilled into his head ever since he was old enough to actually be trained in the shinobi arts of the Uchiha and Uzumaki. And seeing as he have chakra control, he not only knows tree walking, but also water walking, and he even knows how to put chakra in specific parts of his body to basically do what Itachi did in that one light novel, where he, chakra enforced his fist to punch a boulder into smithereens. But, at an accelerated rate. Basically, Naruto's learning this at an accelerated rate. ends up soaking up like a sponge. So not only does he have perfect chakra control everywhere, but he can walk on trees and other surfaces, and even water. And he has not only the Shadow Shuriken, but the Fireball, Great Fireball, and even the Adamantium Chakra Chains. So yeah, Naruto's starting out pretty damn good. This is around the time that he actually gets enrolled into the academy. So yeah, imagine his freaking surprise whenever one day, him just like walking back to the compound with Sasuke and Do, and both of them basically walking together back to the compound. And they basically, like, imagine their surprise whenever they see the freaking carnage of the entire situation. And, well, the thing about everything basically, after all of this was said and done, basically, after Itachi would knock Sasuke out with Tsukiyomi, he would tell Naruto something. And instead of telling Naruto to also hate him and everything and all that shit, he would tell him about something that his parents had never told him about because they were afraid of what he would do if he figured out. You know, all they could do is really delay the inevitable. I mean, eventually he would indeed figure out. They just didn't want him to figure out at such an early age because they were afraid he was truly indeed going to resent the village for this. But Itachi, being the, kind of guy that he is, kind of picked up on it pretty quick. The reason why, even whenever around other Uchihas, he doesn't even get looks. Basically, seeing as Minato and Kushina had not had their own child, there would need to be sort of like a kid sacrifice involved. And seeing as the Uchihas basically ran the police force at the time, and well, regardless of trying to hide her heritage or not, it was still going to come up eventually. So, yeah, basically, Kafe and Anju's child was eventually brought up to, actually receive the other half of the Nine Tails. However, unlike in the freaking manga and anime and all that shit, it is not the freaking, I believe, Yang half that has like all the evil shit going on. He actually gets the Yin half, the good guy half of Kurama. And it is believed it has something to do with his Sharingan. He basically turned the Shinigami's jutsu on Minato, basically switching the halves that were gotten from each person. So Minato thought he was going to be putting the young half inside of the, Naruto, but basically, as an early showing of development of his Sharingan, like some possibility of early developmental stages, he flipped the switch on the Shinigami Jutsu and basically caused Minato to have the young half be inserted inside of him before him and the young half of Kurama basically just got executed Shinigami style. And so instead of the yang half, he gets the yin half. The one that isn't a total asshole. And, is a lot more understanding. And Naruto being the kind of kid that he is, eventually growing up, Itachi would tell him about, he would spill everything about the secret of his true power. That, well, just more or less that Itachi, he basically tells Naruto that he could sense it from him from the first time he laid eyes on the kid. That he was the true reincarnation of Indra Uchiha reborn. And, Naruto's not stupid. He knows who the frick Indra is. The, son of the Sage of the Six Paths, Hagoromo, Otsutsuki. And, Indra's the originator of the entire Sharingan, basically. And all that shit, and the entire just cycle of the damn thing. And, Itachi, one of the many things he mentions to Naruto while Sasuke's unconscious, is the fact that since he would have, only the most fit version of the Sharingan, that being, the reincarnation of Indra would suit for him. He just isn't, any reincarnation of Indra. He is, the modern-day Indra. It's not Sasuke, where it's oh, you're the reincarnation of Indra, just telling you that. No, he is Indra, but in the modern day. That's basically what Itachi's saying, no holds barred, you are Indra. Basically, the modern day equivalent of Indra. And, Naruto gets that flung in his face. And, the yen half of Kurama basically feels really bad for Naruto, because he just got this thrown in his face from Itachi. And before, Naruto has any time to question Itachi on if he's even telling the truth, basically Itachi, just, tells him, look into my eyes, and you'll be able to tell if I'm lying or not. And Naruto's really? You're gonna pull that? I'm not gonna be genjutsu just like Sasuke. And Itachi's oh really? And then he would just undo his Sharingan. And he wouldn't even do the finger genjutsu. He wouldn't even have his finger out. That's how Naruto knew he was serious. So he would look into Itachi's eyes, prepared to shut his eyes if Itachi tried to pull some shit, like reopening a Sharingan, and, even kick him in the chest so that he couldn't use the finger genjutsu. Possibly even kick him in the face after kicking him in the chest, just to add insult to injury. Possibly even, smush his Sharingan just for being a dick. Basically, he could look into Itachi's eyes and see that he was not lying. Basically, what Itachi would further tell him is that, basically, since he's not lying, he does indeed now know that he is truly Indra. Even Kurama confirms this inside Naruto's head, that Itachi is not lying at all. He is telling the straight Carfax truth. He isn't just Indra, he is Indra, basically. And, Itachi even goes so far as to, spill pretty much everything, all of the village secrets about, everything. Basically just giving Naruto the full spill. And Naruto really wouldn't know how to feel about this, what the hell? And basically Itachi would be and now, I pretty much told you everything, not just about yourself, but also about everything to do with me. But he would have basically also told Naruto his real reasons for why he did what he did. About the whole coup d'etat and how he loves his village more than he loves his clan, but he loves the basically loves his brother, and even you, Naruto, more than I love this village. Yeah, he even adds Naruto in there. Like, if they've been pretty much living next to each other for longer than Itachi can even himself. You know, the Uchiha genius prodigy person can even freaking remember himself. So they have a one hell of a connection. And so Itachi doesn't really find it all that hard to say that basically he didn't just say oh, let me spare one person. He was like, let me spare two. Sasuke and Naruto need to live. And he basically straight up admits this to Naruto, that it's been like family, like even deeper than just the fact that you're also a Uchiha. It's kind of like a gravitational pull. And he's not even using Bancho Tenin. He doesn't even have the Rinnegan. So yeah, just like Itachi just opening up and kind of like trying to hold back his emotions but failing miserably. Just confessing to everything basically. And how and why and just all the reasons why he had to do what he did. And the fact that he's not even sure with people Donzo or like Donzo around, that if the whole promise about, having him and Sasuke not be killed, like Naruto and Sasuke not be killed, is even going to be kept, like the entire promise about that. So basically, if he doesn't go after him, Donzo and his men will probably go after them to seal the deal. Because Itachi's not staying here. He's gonna leave and become a missing nin, but not just any missing nin, like a spy for this group called the Akatsuki that have been forming lately. To as far as he knows, something to do with the 9 Biju. And, something about their power. And, Itachi's like, oh, that's some real shady shit. So basically, he's going to be like a inside spy for a Akatsuki thing towards the village, giving them information from behind the scenes. But only to be the specific people. The Hokage. So yeah, kind of double crossing the double cross. Itachi's such a freaking genius that Naruto doesn't have any doubt in his mind that he'll be able to pull this off. He just wishes Itachi, even though you probably don't need it, I still wish you luck, man. I'm sorry about everything and what this had to come to, but still wish you luck. And Itachi's like, well, there is I guess, a couple more things I need to go through. Maybe at least 3 things. And the first is basically Itachi wants to test out Naruto's ability. Basically, right after saying this, he would explain Amaterasu. And basically he would just look at Naruto whenever he says this. And Naruto, not being an idiot, he would dodge Amaterasu flawlessly, while also moving his limb in a way to where he can fan the flames with his own chakra, flexed it so hard it destroyed the Amaterasu. And she's like, yes, it's good. That definitely does indeed say something. Itachi's like, yes, so far it's actually going pretty good. And the next thing is basically, well, he's like, Okay, Tashi, you can do this. Basically, he's basically telling Naruto that he's going to foreclose him several scrolls from like this one ceiling tattoo thing. Basically educates Naruto on the whole use of like ceiling tattoos and how he barely really knows like the ability of mastery of like sealing, but that's from like the fact that you got freaking Anju Uzumaki as a part of the whole thing. So that kind of helped. And, basically Naruto's given a couple of scrolls, which Itachi says has useful jutsu. And with his Sharingan, he can indeed copy the ones that aren't, basically, already, like, ammunition for a Sharingan user. And basically the third and final thing that Itachi does is basically he has like a little container and he like pops the lid on it. And Naruto realizes that there's something in there. Basically, Itachi states that whenever he got to his friend Shisui, who had been on the run, basically by then he had already taken one of like the person who was going after him, that being Gonzo, had already taken one of his eyes. However, he was pretty much able to fight them off mostly, and he's still on the run. And that was whenever he basically saw Itachi, and seeing Itachi again kind of gave Shisui some peace of mind, so he would just take his other eye out and give it to Itachi, hoping that this would patch up some things. Their whole relationship between the two of them. Basically, Itachi would say that he wanted him to have this eye, like, once he has this, has this eye, basically have the Sharingan ability of Shisui Uchiha, that being Kuro Matsukami. Basically, Itachi kind of explains, like, all the shit about Kuro Matsukami. Basically, kind of like a very sick and sadistically twisted version of the power of suggestion. Basically, having people do things with the people that you're having them do, like the things that they're doing, thinking that they're doing them of their own free will, but really not. They're under, like, a genjutsu, which is Kuro Matsukami. That's basically Kuro Matsukami, like, as simplest as Itachi can put it. And, that basically Itachi would also say the recharge time for Kuro Matsukami is actually a lot longer or shorter depending on if you actually have Hashirama cells inside of you. And considering that, like, in terms of the clan, Anju actually, like, her parents actually were relatives of the Shenju clan. So, if anyone has a shit ton of, like, Hashirama cells out of the freaking, like, Uchiha clan that's left, it's going to be Naruto. He has a shit ton, actually. And so, the recharge time for Kuro Matsukami is actually going to be very, very taken down. So yeah, basically, knowing what Kuro Matsukami can do, and knowing that the recharge time is basically going to be, like, abysmally small, because of the fact that his, like, he has such a close relation to the very Senju clan of like the first Hokage, the Shodan himself, Hashirama Senju. So he does have a lot of like Hashirama cells inside of him because of his deep relations, because of his parentage and their deep relations. And Itachi thinking on this, it's like, possibly, could I get him to see if, he has that? And, Itachi, seeing as he's hard-pressed for time, he's like, one last thing. I need to make sure, because this will pretty much be the life and death difference for Itachi of, considering what kind of power and how much power Naruto truly has. And what he's going to do with it. And how to, mold it. Basically, Itachi's like, I'm going to use the jutsu again, but this time, I'm going to want you to perform these handstands. And basically, Kakashi kind of does handstand mimicry. It does some stuff about the Showtime. And his ability to do all sorts of shit with his power. It's just that he can do. And basically, Naruto was able to get this actually kind of ridiculously fast. That's what Itachi's trying to tell him. You want me to see if I can use wood style? Because of the massive amount of Hashirama related cells in my body. Actually, I think I can do a little bit more than that. And then that's just whenever, he would have whispered that last part, and Itachi would just use Amaterasu again, and Naruto would just be like, okay then, quintuple Rashomon, and Itachi would be like, wait, that's not wood stuff. Boom! Just soak up all the Amaterasu. Quintuple Rashomon. And Itachi would be like, wait, something's wrong. Something's weird. Why do I feel weird? And then all of a sudden he just realized, wood style. Encasing cage of wood. Wood style. Encasing cage of earth element. Yeah, basically. And Naruto wouldn't just stop at that. He'd be like, wood style, follow up. Great deep forest emergence. And basically that the entire Uchiha compound would now just become a freaking forest. And Itachi would have no idea where anything was. He would try to use his Sharingan, but to no avail. He'd just be sensing chakra everywhere, but he wouldn't know what any of the chakra was. Except for just a lot of freaking wood. Basically, Naruto exclaiming that this entire box thing, and so this giant forest, is just to keep him there for a little bit. And that's whenever you would just hear, horse, tiger, fire style, great fireball! And the fireball would just burn out the freaking box. And Itachi would feel winded because, he got a lot of his chakra sucked out. And all the chakra that, was sucked out would just go into Naruto, giving him even bigger reserves, because now he has, Itachi Uchiha extra reserve. And this way he can kind of steal his opponent's chakra, even without having the Rinnegan. And the whole deep forest emergence, well, if the Uchihas are mostly dead anyways, why would you need the compound? From what Naruto knows, the Namikaze compound, the fourth isn't using it, he's dead. And, the fourth was married to another Uzumaki. So technically, it could indeed be somewhat of a right to him, seeing as, well, his mother Anju, like Uzumaki Anju, was related to Uzumaki Kushina. And so, henceforth, being related to Uzumaki Kushina, Kushina related to Minato through their marriage, you could indeed have the freaking Namikaze compound if you wanted to. And Kushina was very lenient, considering the heritage that she knew she had with Anju. And so basically made Minato lenient, or else suffer the wrath of the freaking Red Hot Habanero. And Minato, he knows from experience that that would not be a good thing. So, indeed, this Naruto would indeed have the entire freaking Namikaze clan compound soon enough. And with his abilities to freaking use wood style and his god mod level freaking Sharingan, even getting the implant of Shisui's eye, and basically turning them not just like one Tomoe, like Itachi would see this. First one Tomoe, then two Tomoe, then three Tomoe, then they would all spin and become frickin' Naruto's own set of Mangekyo Sharingan. Which is basically 3 ovals that are basically like this, like one on the bottom and 2 to the north, like one to the northwest, one to the northeast, or the eye, but they would all be halfway inside of a ring around Naruto's regular pupil. So there'd be a ring around the pupil, and halfway in there'd be one to the northwest part of the ring, one to the northeast part, and one at the middle bottom. And this would basically be, his basic Mangekyo, but as basically their entire discussion, everything that Naruto had discussed with Itachi, his Mangekyo isn't like other Mangekyo. The light will not fade. He doesn't need to get all eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. I mean, of course he could, but that's only if, the whole thing with not actually hating Sasuke, and, knowing that Sasuke is brothers with Itachi, and knowing how, this was all because of his love for the village, and everything, and an actual order from the Hokage and several members of the council, and how Itachi was just overall done dirty. And so basically, Naruto was just thinking in his head, I won't let anyone soil his name any further. And if they try that shit, they are going to pay the consequences. And if not, then my name isn't Naruto Uzumaki Uchiha. So, yeah. Oh, and something else, basically, seeing as, Minato isn't alive anymore, he's not gonna need it. Basically, the special kunais, Naruto would end up, fashioning his own, actually. And, having some experience with seals already, he would even know how to create the correct seals. And so he'd already have the Flying Thunder God, or the Hiraishin, or frickin', whatever you call it. He'd already have that, and he'd even have, the extension to that, which is the Flying Thunder God Slash. The Flying Raijin, the frickin' Hiraishin, or, the Flying Thunder God. Basically, he'd have the Flying Thunder God and the Flying Thunder God Slash. So basically, like, the extension of, like, the original Flying Thunder God, basically the Flying Thunder God Slash as well. He would have actually, been adamant at, like, training himself to be better and better, like, every second of the day. Like, just overachiever, like, in the maximum. And, like, Naruto won't settle for less. And that even goes for, like, the possibility of repopulating the clan. And seeing as Naruto, using the Deep Forest Emergence, basically destroyed the old Uchiha compound, like, all of it, he decides he's going to make the Namikaze clan compound into the new Uchiha clan compound. Because at the end of the day, if Naruto has his way, he's going to make a new Uchiha clan. Slowly but surely, he will make a new one. And this one won't fall under the prejudices of power-hungry, greedy-ass people like Gonzo and his root agents. And Shinobi and shit. And, the Civilian Council. And they're like narrow-minded thoughts about all sorts of shit that Naruto just finds disgusting. He wants to vomit on their dead corpses. Yeah, he hates people like that. Like, he loathes them. Like, they think of him as subhuman? No, he thinks of them as even less than subhuman. He freaking hates them. Like, you think I'm the demon? Then what the hell are you supposed to be? Because, like, wow, that's just wrong. And, like, the yin half of Kurama inside of Naruto, which basically, Kurama would have already told Naruto their name by now. And so he would have reached perfect Jinchuriki status by the time he was going to graduate the academy. And, well, looky here. Basically, as everything goes, what am I gonna do with this? Basically, how everything is going to go is, well, there's actually an urgent report from the Hokage about something to do with, like, a certain village, like, I guess you could say mishap, if you wanted to put it very lightly. Basically, one of the children of the Yandaime Kazekage, one of them, well, ran away after another one of them, the actual Jinchuriki of the One-Tailed Shikaku, kinda lost his shit and almost killed her. Like, right in front of his freaking other siblings, his brother's eyes. So basically, like, now, I think you guys know what I'm talking about. Basically, Tamare, after almost being freaking, killed, and, almost the same thing happening to Kankuro, Tamare basically fearing for her life, basically, at Kankuro's bedside while he's asleep, basically go over and basically, apologize profusely about this, but she's just too scared. She can't go on like this any longer. Gaara's gone too off the deep end. He's been talking about things like something about his mother. Yeah, Tamari's realizing the signs of insanity, and it's just like, this cannot be good. Besides, the tune-in exams are being held at the Leaf anyways, so by the time the tune-in exams happen, Gara and Konkuro will come around eventually, and so she'll be able to see them again. Hopefully Gara will be in a better state of mind by then, but knowing Tamari's luck, she'll probably have him in an even worse state of sanity. And, just the heartache at being, leaving Konkuro to pretty much the wolves, or more appropriately, the Tanukis, in which Kurama actually makes the remark, Tanuki, more like angry raccoon. And Naruto would just be like, angry raccoon? Well, basically, the Hokage would be introducing a new, member of, the village. Basically, an escapee from the Land of Wind. It took her a while to get here, but finally she's here, and she looks exhausted. And Naruto's like, she doesn't really have a place now, does she? We'll basically just walk up to the Hokage and be like, she doesn't have a place now, does she? Well, I can fix that. I've already, basically gotten done, with the whole thing. Basically, with him and Kurama being buddies, Naruto's actually learned the Kagebushin no Jutsu relatively easily. And any sort of, sabotage that Mizuki's tried to do to him in the past, Mizuki's taken care of quite nice inside of an internal genjutsu that basically he cannot escape and never will. Even if he's already dead, he won't even know that. He will be stuck in there forever, and the pain and suffering will never end. Naruto, he basically plainly stated, and Mizuki did it anyways, and so Naruto did. He just decided to turn Mizuki into an example of what happens if you pull that shit. You're gonna get freaking bitched. And in Mizuki's case, he's just been eternally bitched. And, well, basically, Naruto, he has, the whole thing, basically, Makuton! With style! And basically, Naruto would just make the, past Namikaze compound now his current Uchiha compound, because basically, after Hiruzen just flared up his killing intent enough, yeah, he got really killing intent-wise, to the point where they just, the entire civilian council were just like, okay, we'll get off the kid. Just please stop doing that. And Naruto would just be in his mind and be like, well, then please stop being such assholes. And, Kurama would have to agree with him. They are assholes. There are very few of them that are actually, nice, genuine, good, soul-hearted people. And, Naruto's thinking that before anybody makes any offers, to just take this Tamari person in, because, he heard basically that's her name, Tamari. And, well, now that she's separated from her Sand siblings, she basically doesn't have a clan that she belongs to. And Naruto brings up, well, this entire area here used to be the Namikaze clan compound, but ever since the destruction of the previous Uchiha compound and the entire, slaughter of most of the Uchihas, I basically decided to make my own new Uchiha compound out of the old Namikaze compound, considering the connections I have through, like, blood and shit. And, well, tomorrow we'll just see how Naruto is, like, effortlessly able to use this wood style to just mold, like, effortlessly, like, able to mold the entire compound to his will. And Naruto would just be like, "Will of fire, baby! Woo! Nature boy." And so, yeah. Basically, Naruto's like, if you want to know where your room is, like, as of now, basically, I can help you find one that you like. And once you have found one that you like, just, get me and I'll finish the entire renovations and see if I can get it to the closest thing that you would think, would be, good and serviceable. My hospitalities lie within those of my clan. Basically, seeing as you basically ditched your whatever previous clan you were a part of, and you're now a part of the Leaf Village, you're probably not even going to be wanted in your old clan. So, why don't you just be like me? I mean, it's not that hard. Actually, as a clan head, I'm actually very, I've even been told this before, by, the different branch members of the Hyuga clan, the Inuzuka, the Aburame, basically, not just by the different members of the Hyuga, but, the Inuzuka, the Aburame, the Nara, the Akamichi, the Yamanaka, the Haruno. Well, it's not really the Haruno. Basically, all the shinobi, frickin' heads, the heads of the shinobi council, all of them have told me how much of a nice person I am. And, that's a great feat to have so many friends in high places. It really does indeed help with the whole morale and, not feeling like you want to kill yourself 24/7. And also, another thing that helps that is, the friend I have inside here. Name is Karama. But try not to tell anyone that I told you that, because apparently it's supposed to be a very top secret. But considering you are indeed going to be a member of my clan, I think you should at least know that much. And tomorrow you're just blown away by all these different revelations. And so basically she's like, of course. So basically now she's like, well then, I guess. Tamari Uchiha. That actually has quite the, not exactly expected, but very, very cute ring to it. And tomorrow would just be like, cute. He thinks I'm cute with that clan name. Aren't you worried about the fact that not only the Uchihas are going to have the Uchiha eye, the Sharingan eye? And Naruto would just be like, no way in hell. The guy would ever be that mean. Especially to my own clan. And the people in the village, even besides my own clan, that, treat me good. So few and far between. Hey, there actually is, in case you're hungry, there is indeed this one place with this, really cool guy, Tayuchi, and even his daughter, they're great people. And Tayuchi makes really good ramen. Like, you would not even begin to know it's like to die for, beyond to die for. It's amazing the kind of ramen the guy can make. I come there so often that they actually made a Naruto special a part of the menu. And if you can't believe me, then you should go and see for yourself. I'll come with you if you like. And, Tamari realizing that this person is just so damn generous right off the bat. Even, let her into his clan. Basically just told her that he has no discrimination amongst the whole clan, like, Uchiha I or not. He doesn't give a shit. And even, telling her about, his favorite place to freaking eat. The freaking, Tayuchi ramen shop. Oh, and another thing, Tamari, basically, if you need any help moving your things in, whatever you were able to, collect before you left, you can just ask the help of my shadow clones. Kagebushin no Jutsu. And then there would just be 1,000 Narutos. And 500 of them would actually not just be regular shadow clones, but actually be wood clones. And, Tamari's just wow. Both shadow clones and even wood clones, wood style. The style of the Shodaime, Hokage, Hashirama Senju. And Naruto would be yeah, and technically my Sharingan is special, as in, the fact that a certain stage that it's in, it's usually supposed to lose its light eventually. Basically according to blindness. But this one's special in the fact that really has never really happened. It's really never been a factor, and apparently it's never going to be because of how unique my Sharingan is. Basically, now Tamari's well, Naruto, that's nice and all, but I just, well, and Naruto's oh, you're flustered, that's it. Well, being flustered, hungry, confused, and all sorts of other things. Man, you're gonna work me like a racehorse trying to help you. But hey, the clones help with that too. And the wood clones are especially strong. So yeah, you guys help with Miss Tamari's things while I go take her out for a bite to eat. Says it's getting that time. Oh, and Tamari's oh, it's dinner already? And Naruto's man, you guys must be really off kilter on your calendars. Or, clocks. No, it's lunchtime. And Tamari's oh, sorry about that. It's just, the weather's always so windy where we live, so it's kind of hard to tell about the different, time things, with the sun and the moon. And Naruto's oh, well, I'll be sure to help you with that. I mean, I'll be sure to help you with anything you need. I mean, after all, you are going to become part of my clan compound. And possibly even enroll into the Ninja Academy. Actually, maybe if I were to test you after we get a bite to eat, lunch. Maybe if I were to test you, we could pass you off already. If I see fit that you have what it takes, then you will officially be a shinobi of the Hidden Leaf. I mean, after all, I've pretty much already passed. Isn't Naruto motioning to his headband? And, well, in terms of you look like you could indeed already be passable as well. So basically, all of that would indeed be happening. Like, somebody would be thinking this as like a challenge, and she'd be like, this Naruto guy had mentioned before how he never backs down from a challenge himself. That's his ninja way. No, Daddale, or however the frick they pronounce it in the Japanese. Basically, believe it. And Tamari is like, well, that will be her ninja way too, then. She's never going to back away from a challenge. But she also doesn't need to realize whenever she exclaims this out loud, thinking that she was only thinking it. No, she actually didn't exclaim this out loud. She kind of gets a super blush. It's Naruto, and Naruto would be like, you okay in there? Tamari! And then Naruto would just be like, Amaterasu. And you just have the Amaterasu land next to her fan. And basically Tamari would be like, shoot, go away. Like, you're about to burn my fan. And Naruto's like, don't worry. And Amaterasu just disappears. And he'd be like, I had to do that or else you were just going to stay like that forever. And so basically, lunch would have been had, and finally, after everybody was good and happy, it would be the time. Basically, Tamari would be tested, and she would pass with flying colors. Naruto would even be allowed to give her own little village headband. Shinobi village headband. And Tamari would actually indeed wear this headband with pride. Because even on the four corners of the metal plate, for where the symbol's supposed to be, on the four corners of it, smaller symbols, basically the kanji for basically the Uchiha name, would be on the four corners of the metal part of the headband. And in the middle would be the symbol of the village. And, well, I think Tamari would like this. This isn't just any headband, it's a special headband. Showing that she's not only a part of the clan, but she's loyal to it. Because, the only other, Uchiha, basically. The only Uchiha she's really met up until now is Naruto. And she actually indeed does admit that she actually really likes Naruto. And thinks that since they're both technically going to be Genins, well, it would be really nice if they were to be in their own squad together. Just like, who would the third member be, though? Who would the third member be? My dance of enchantment. Gotta be careful with this. Basically, everybody would show up to the academy on the time warp. Basically, they were to be told who basically was that their team was going to be, and even something that Naruto added. Well, basically, you know, there would be one new person for Tamari to meet, which would be Sasuke, seeing as this is going to be the new Uchiha compound. The Uchiha was like, Sasuke was basically always a part of the compound before, like the previous one. So yeah, he decides that regardless, he's going to be a part of this one, basically. So yeah, already like 3 members in the compound, like the, clan head and 2 other members. Besides the clan head. It would be Naruto, as he is literally the reincarnation of freaking Indra. And well, Naruto, him and Tamari were walking, towards the academy, he would indeed muse a little bit about a certain someone he knew from the Ambu. Basically, he knew that they were in Ambu and that they would sometimes check up on him. He basically knew them as what their Ambu name was, like Inu, because they had the dog mask. And they also had gravity-defying hair. Like silver hair. And Mari wouldn't have indeed heard about someone like this, and that their name was Kakashi Hatake. And, Naruto would be like, oh, so you know too. I was just about to say that. That's nice. That would be nice to get him as a sensei. I mean, regardless if he's always at least 3 hours late for everything. Sometimes less, sometimes possibly more. You never know with that man. Then again, I always wondered how exactly he gets his hair to do that. Is this some sort of secret jutsu that no one else knows? Basically, yeah. Well, everybody would just be gathered up there. Basically, guys might be running if Tamari's here, then what about everybody else? How do you fit them in, different things? Is another thing gonna graduate? Are there gonna be more rookies? Or is, something going to go horribly wrong? Well, for a certain pink-haired banshee, yes. Because I basically always felt that I could kind of, tolerate Ino's character more than I can Sakura's character. I don't downright hate her, I just feel like I can't really say I like her. I can only really say I tolerate her as a character. She has her moments, but that's just the thing. She has her moments. Few and far between. And that is until you get to Shippuden, where she's kind of on again, off again. Somewhat badass. Ish. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, basically Sakura versus Sasori with Chio. That whole shit. So basically, there was indeed one more person, like, who didn't make it, and that would be Sakura. But, you know, considering, like, Tamari's scores on the test Naruto gave her, like, could you really blame the people for not passing Sakura, yet, you know, passing Tamari? I mean, come on, even if it was, like, a Naruto's test and the majority of the civilian councils were against Naruto, which they probably were, still wouldn't matter. I mean, though Kage has two eyes, he can see what actually is indeed, like, good in the making, you know, for an actual, like, promising shinobi. You know, promising Konoichi. So, yeah. Basically, I'm replacing Sakura with Tamari. And seeing as I've only really stated that as a sort of replacement, you guys can kind of guess how things go down. Basically, Naruto would, you know... You guys may be wondering, like some of you may be wondering, what does Naruto look like? He looks like Indra, but with the blonde hair. For some reason he has blonde hair. But that's really the only, like, he has the Naruto hair and the Naruto eyes. But they can still become Sharingan, just because of they're not the like, black eyes of, like, the usual Uchiha, doesn't mean they can't become Sharingan. It just means that they're different. Like, Naruto is, like, same eye colors and same freaking hair color as in canon, only it's, like, Indra's length and Indra's style with the hair. But it's Naruto's color. And, you know, Naruto's color for with the eyes as well. And, well, basically, you know, it kind of just be like that strong Indra vibe all throughout Naruto's strip. Yeah, he kind of took the whole thing about, like, Itachi literally exclaiming that he was, like, the current day Indra. He took that to heart, like, heavily took it to heart. Plus, if he's gonna be the head of a clan, he's gotta have, you know, the kind of power, you know, he's gotta invoke the kind of power and fear that a clan like the Uchiha would and should, you know, invoke. As basically the clan head, that's what he should be doing. While also being kind, but, you know, don't cross him, or else, you know, bad things are going to happen. So yeah, it's basically, yeah, the same hair color and same eye color, but the hairstyle is Indra's hairstyle, and just a lot of things that are like beginning of Shippuden Sasuke mixed with, like, Indra. Minus, like, the Orochimaru rope. Minus that. Because he's not into Orochimaru shit. You just got that kind of mix in between Sasuke's beginning of Shippuden drip with like Indra's drip, minus the Orochimaru rope shit that's around the waist. And, rocking the Indra hairstyle, but with Naruto's canon hair color and Naruto's canon eye color. While still able to turn into a Sharingan. Not just any Sharingan, but the Mangekyo Sharingan, and not just any Mangekyo Sharingan. A, very well improved version. Because it doesn't lose the light. Sure, using it a lot can indeed strain and cause, actual pain, but, never lose the light. So basically, seeing as I only really substituted for one person, and now I just explained what Naruto looks like, you can basically tell it's basically going to be Team 7 in canon, but with the changes of Naruto's looks, and the fact that instead of Sakura, it's Temari. Because of her own reasons for not wanting to be in the freaking Sand Village any longer. Not even wanting to be in the Land of Wind any longer. Because of her own reasons. Which involve a certain one-tailed Tanuki. Yeah. And, Kurama would be like, Tanuki, more like bastard child raccoon. And, Naruto wouldn't exactly be so close-minded to, actually, revealing certain things. If he thought Kurama said something funny and he laughed and Temari wanted to know, unless it was something that would be bad to, mention, he's gonna tell her. He wants to be open with her. And because of this overwhelming honesty and overwhelming, good nature towards, the members of his clan, even, good nature towards Sasuke, which actually does indeed help with, a lot of the coping Sasuke has to do early on. And, Sasuke, doesn't he have the change where he's not nearly as, over-emotionally, confused as, he would be in canon. So, we have a more positive attitude Sasuke, a Naruto with, as previously stated, drip and just looks overall, and Temari. No longer embracing the Land of Wind, but embracing not just the Land of Fire, but the Will of Fire. Temari feels that Will of Fire coursing through her. It's all because of Naruto just being an amazing person. That she feels like if she's not kidding herself, she thinks she might be falling in love. But she tries to remind herself just to just to be safe, to try to not become one of the Uchiha kids' fangirls. She doesn't want to become anything like that. Anyways, basically the entirety of Team 7 would just be waiting and waiting and waiting. As until Kakashi finally showed his ass and, made his own freaking excuse. And, Naruto would just give him a look like, really, man? Really? And, but Temari would kind of be internally, laughing out loud, just wow, you just got told stuff without even knowing you got told. The look he just gave Kakashi whenever he made that excuse. And Kakashi would be like, holy shit, this kid is on my case. And, Sasuke would just, kind of be weighing his options in between the two paths that lie in front of him. Like, the path of either just, letting everything that Itachi had done go, or, being over like a freaking Avenger! Like, shit, all they just put that man in Marvel Comics. Just have Stan Lee be proud. Because we got, an Avenger over here. Another person for, Tony Stark to mourn over the fact that he lost them. Just have Thanos snap Sasuke out of existence and have Tony Stark be all melancholy about that shit. But hey, that was Spider-Man, and Spider-Man's cool. Now, if Spider-Man had the Infinity Gauntlet, that would be awesome. So, yeah. Basically, Sasuke sees two paths in front of him, but, Sasuke also decides that he's going to have his own ninja way. And that ninja way being, even though he sees these two paths in front of him, and, fate just daring him to take one path or another, he sees, a little opening, and is like, forge his own freaking path, regardless of what Kami-sama says. He's like, I'm gonna forge my own damn path. Screw you. I'll forge my own damn path. So yeah, we basically have a more positive and well-off Sasuke who decides to, instead of following either path, follow his own path, which basically is a healthy medium of the two, mixed together without the problematics of, being a Uchiha weighing over him like freaking iron ton of bricks. And, Naruto would be happy for Sasuke, and even Tamari would be happy for Sasuke, for instead of choosing one or the other path, making his own path and, choosing that one. His own ninja way. All three of them burning with the will of fire. Just like Kakashi was told by Hiruzen they would be. All burning with the will of fire. And Kakashi would just be like, oh, this will be interesting. First impression. You're all not exactly too weird, but definitely something special. Basically, Sasuke's whole thing, it wouldn't necessarily be to kill a certain someone, but it would indeed be to restore his clan. With his whole dream that he will indeed make a reality. But there wouldn't really be all that much emphasis on killing a certain someone. Just more or less an emphasis on the fact that he's going to help, emphasis on help restore his clan, because the person doing most of the main restoring here is Naruto, taking the initiative as the reincarnation of Indra. The, freaking creator of the entire Uchiha thing. So if anyone's gonna be doing that shit, and the maximum, it's gonna be Naruto. So he basically is more help restore the clan. And Tamari is not exactly opposed to helping. In fact, she actually kind of likes the idea of starting anew in this little Uchiha clan. Naruto is envisioning one free from prejudice, one free from hatred. Prejudice and hatred, two things that Naruto hopes to free this new Uchiha thing from. The first two things he's thinking, free from hatred and free from prejudice. And, well, yeah, like, basically after the whole thing about Sasuke's altered version of what he decided, plus he doesn't admit he does like his clan, at least his, like, new version. He indeed likes them. In fact, Sasuke actually adds on that they're one of the only things that keeps him going, actually. Possibly the only thing, really, that he can actually remember that keeps him going is the fact that he has these people. So, like I said, a more positive thinking Sasuke is thinking about the positive instead of the negative. And it's helping him out a lot. Especially with having these people around to help him get through the hard times. And, well, Naruto's whole thing would be more or less not really like the Hokage, would be more like a side thing for him. His main goal is indeed to just straight up, he says it, new Uchiha clan. And I'm the clan head already. So I'm gonna build that shit up like you've never seen before. So says I, Naruto Uzumaki Uchiha. And you know, Kakashi kind of is like I would widen and be like, wait, Uzumaki and Uchiha? Holy shit! And you know, Tamari's little thing, she'd be like, you know, she likes Naruto and Sasuke, and well, you know, she also likes the Hokage, and she likes the ramen people, and things that she dislikes, kind of like, you know, basically saying the same things that Naruto dislikes, basically saying that, well, you know, the things that he dislikes, I just so happen to not like either. So I'll go with what basically he went with. And on the whole, like, things like dreams for the future, or all that shit, basically, yeah. Her dream for the future, basically, to be by Naruto's side as he climbs, be by his side as he climbs to the top. Concerning his own dream. Another thing that would kind of raise Kakashi's eye like really big is that Tamari would actually introduce herself as Tamari Uchiha. She would introduce it with pride. She would like have like a sly smile and everything. Like she's happy and proud to be a Uchiha. But not for like the overly arrogant, like smug reasons, but like for the reasons that, you know, she wouldn't rather be anything else. This is a life that she chose, and it's a life that she's finding she's rather enjoying, and rather just being glad that she did choose it. You know? Just being happy with herself, happy with her life, like content, finding true happiness. Knowing what it's like to feel happiness. True happiness. Basically, Tamari would actually reveal her full name being Tamari Sabaku. This is like basically Tamari Sabaku Uchiha. Because I believe that's like the last name. Sabaku, I think. If not, just Tamari Uchiha, like, but if I am right, Tamari Sabaku Uchiha. So, yeah. Truly all habits do die hard, but not exactly, like, in a painful way, because Tamari regardless of her status with the other Sand siblings, as of like recent, she doesn't seem to really care. She just decides to not forget so that she doesn't repeat. Like, not forget your past so that you don't repeat your past. She would never want that for Naruto or Sasuke. So she basically chooses to pronounce herself basically Tamari Sabaku Uchiha. And well, basically, everything would all end with basically Kakashi's like being like, "Oh, don't eat or else you'll throw up," and everything. With the whole like thing about them having like a sort of like some sort of practice thing as the first thing that they'd be doing. And Naruto would just give Tamari and Sasuke the look like, you guys, I'm guessing you guys already know. And Sasuke and Tamari, just thanks the like overall leadership skills and smarts of Naruto in this, everyone would already know what Kakashi was trying to pull, and so they would eat breakfast regardless. So yeah, basically, this would have starting off pretty great. It started off dark, but it's actually going to be a nice, happy what if. Let's just see how long that lasts. Knowing me, probably not long, but who knows? I'm just like that sometimes. Anyways, joyous freaking day. As a marathon of like the other parts, like other like 3 more parts, I guess, because that would make a total of 4 parts. For like if Kurama was like Izuku's mother, what if? And also more episodes of Dark Shadow Maverick World Adventures are things to come. It's almost like Cartoon Network would then be like, right now, this. Up next, this. Oh my god, Cartoon Network. Anyways, that's because Dr. Maverick is OT out here. You boys like, favorite, subscribe. Click that little bell. Something in the comment section. Bounce like a squidge in my blue sweat shoes. Yeet and I'll eat. Misdirection. I love you guys. No homo.